Hello, my loves. I don't have my air conditioning on because I know that if I put my air conditioning on, it's gonna make a sound in the background, and I kind of want you guys to hear this. So if I start sweating, just appreciate the glow. I wanted to share with you guys some crazy, intense things that happened inside of my life in the last couple of weeks, and I wanted to talk about this because this is such an important message that I feel like a lot of us don't really understand or think that much about, and that is the beauty of struggle and obstacles inside of our lives. So you guys have probably heard me talk about before, I absolutely love my struggle. I see it as beautiful opportunities to grow and to learn and to evaluate what is going on inside of me. And so there's this show on Netflix. I don't know if you guys have ever watched it before. It's called Once Upon a Time. And in the show, there is a character, Rumpelstiltskin. And he has this saying that he always says, and it says, all magic comes with a price, dearie. And I absolutely love that quote that he says because it is so true. Everything magical around us comes with a price. I'll give you some examples. Sight is a beautiful magic that we have, right? The ability to see. And yet the price that we pay is sometimes we don't see things that we want, or sometimes we see things that we don't want to see, right? Have you ever seen something and been like, I wish I hadn't have seen that? Healing is a magic, and yet sometimes we are hearing things we don't want to hear, right? Like I share this a lot with people. Like you never experience more joy than after a time of sorrow. Like you never appreciate money more than after experiencing an episode of being broke. Like it is the polar opposite of something good that really makes us appreciate something good. So everything comes with a price, and I have learned to really embrace both sides of those things. And so when struggle comes into my life, first, I acknowledge that struggle, obstacles are not necessarily bad. It is not the obstacle itself that we need to change. You're never going to have a life without obstacles or struggles. What we need to focus on is how we are responding to the struggle when it shows up inside of our life. And so that's what I teach inside of Uplevel. I teach certain skill sets that you can use in order to up-level your emotions and your mindset regardless of what's happening around you, so that you can feel good and continue to attract a life that you want. What you focus on grows. What you focus on is going to make you feel a certain way, and what you focus on is going to manifest in your life through the law of attraction. So it is so important that when these obstacles happen, you do not let these obstacles tear you down. You don't let these obstacles give you validation to sit in victim status. You don't let this drain your energy. You don't play the woes me game like a lot of us do, like I used to do. You have to find a way to raise your vibration regardless of what is going on around you. And sometimes I have these life experiences where these things happen, and I'm telling them to people, and they're like, wait, what? How are you okay right now? Like, how are you functioning? And I swear to God, it is because of what I learned inside of this up-level content when it was given to me, what it was that I saw inside this content, and putting it into practice. So I wanted to share with you guys what happened over the last, I think it's been like 2 weeks. I don't really know because time is kind of weird right now. But there are so many things going on inside of my life. So about a week and a half ago, I had the opportunity to make the decision to take an entire month off of my quote-unquote job, working my brick and mortar, and to just focus on me, focus on some of the things that I have gone through. So I very intentionally said, I am going to remove myself from my typical obligations, and I am going to do some deep diving into me and into some of the trauma that I've experienced over the last year and a half, and really just take a look at it so I can make sure that I have processed that trauma and move forward. And so, what do you know, every time I say, universe, I'm opening up myself to learn more, to release more trauma, what do you think it does? It brings me opportunities to look at where the trauma is at, which means struggle. It means obstacles. Every single time you tell the universe, I want to grow. Every single time you say, I want my life to look different. Every single time you say, I want my life to change, it is going to put you in positions where you have to look at your shit so that you can move forward and actually receive receive the change and the transformation that you were looking to receive. So it's like every single time I say this to the universe, I gotta buckle up. I know shit's coming. And when I know shit's coming, I have to do all the things that I've learned inside of Up Level in order to prepare myself so that these things do not bother me. So my week was going fantastic 2 weeks ago. I mean, everything was aligning. Have you ever just had one of those weeks where like everything that you want is just seemingly given to you on a silver platter and you're like, man, I couldn't have asked for this week to look better. All of the conversations I've had have been in alignment. All these things that I needed just kind of showed up out of nowhere, manifesting things left and right. Like that's the space that I was in. I was in high energy. I was excited because I was going to be taking the month off to focus on myself. I was just so pumped up. I had released my retreats, which has been on my mind forever to put it inside of this model, but it wasn't until I actually pulled the cord and just decided to do it that I got this burst of energy and knew like this is what I'm supposed to be doing. So I'm on cloud 9, right? And I am riding this cloud, and it's riding on this cloud, and it's Friday of last week. Yes, Friday of last week. And I get a burst of energy after we close the club, and I'm like, I'm going to do some things around the club. My daughter's with me, Wendy's with me, and we're having a good old time, listening to music, you know, just having fun. And all of a sudden my phone rings. Now, if you've been following my page, you know that just a little while ago, my boyfriend was in a head-on collision, okay? A horrible accident. Late at night, wrong way driver on a freaking highway, hit him head on, car flipped multiple times, right? Like nasty, gnarly accident. He's still recovering from that accident. There's some physical things going on, but there was a lot of post-traumatic stress disorder type symptoms going on inside of that accident. So I get a phone call, and it's Dominic, and he says, babe, don't panic, but I've been in another car accident. And I'm like, oh my God. Now immediately, the part of me that worries, the part of me that has fear, the spleen inside of us immediately activates and wants to be like, oh my God, is he okay? How can this happen again? Like what's, you know, like it's a natural reaction for us to do this. And instead what I've learned is that what I focus on is going to change how I feel, and what I focus on is going to change what I manifest inside of my future. So when I see an obstacle, when I see something yucky that comes up inside of my life experience that I don't want in my life experience, I need to be able to focus on keeping my vibration high. So in that moment, the thing that I can focus on is he's okay. His life was spared again. I can reach for appreciation, for gratitude. I can stop in that moment and say, thank you so much. It is so evident to me how much you favor and protect me and the people that I love. Thank you so much. The way that the accident happened, it happened in such a way where he was the least impacted, even though he could have easily not been. So I'm just giving gratitude. I make sure that he's okay. I put my phone down, and I immediately go back to what was bringing me joy, which was getting the stuff done in the club that I wanted to get done. 2 hours later, I'm sitting there working on something, and I hear the sound of metal smashing. You know, like when you're in a car accident, you can hear the sound of metal. It's a very distinct sound of metal. And I hear this crunching sound of metal followed by panic screams. And I jump up and I see that somebody has driven through the front of my brick and mortar club. It takes me a second to realize what has happened. I hear her tires screeching as she's trying to back out of the club. My mind is going 1,000 miles a minute. Is she gonna like drive off and like leave this way, right? And I run outside and I open her door and I'm like, what the heck are you doing? And she just looks at me. And I'm like, are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay? And she's in shock and she's not saying anything to me, right? And so she finally comes down. She says her husband's next door. We call the police. Everybody, you know, the fire trucks come out and they're making sure that everybody's okay. So here's what I want to point out. So in this craziness, there are so many different things we can focus on. So many different things. the fear inside of us, the spleen inside of us, the part of us that wants to protect us and is afraid, is going to naturally be focused on all the craziness of this situation. Oh my gosh, like, does she have insurance? I can't believe this freaking happened. We got to open tomorrow for business. We're supposed to be having a party in here. I'm going to lose out on money, yada, 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 right? And there's all these things that I could be focusing on. And instead, because of what I've been training myself to do inside of this up-level content, is I stop and I start to focus on what is something that I can focus on inside of this situation that is going to bring me joy and going to bring me gratitude and appreciation to keep my vibration up. And immediately I go to what I went through with the accident with Dominic. Everybody is safe. Everybody is safe. Now I want to expand on this for a moment. The entire front of my business is glass. It's just all glass. Glass windows, glass doors. That is not going to keep a car from going inside of the building. This lady accidentally hit the gas instead of the brake. So she was full-fledged on driving into the front of my building. There are 2 steel foundational poles that are built into my building. 2 in the entire front space. I have 3 units. There are only 2. If you know anything about steel, you know that if you hit steel, you ain't fucking going anywhere. Of all the places she could have hit, she hit one of the steel pillars, which means that her car was immediately stopped, so she could not go any further inside. What was on the other side of her was my daughter, sitting against a wall with her headphones on, listening to an audiobook as she was coloring on her iPad. If that steel pole hadn't have been there, you could see the tire marks. You could see the direction of the car. The car would have went in and ran over my child, right into the bathroom. I would have lost my business. I would have had to close down. And God only knows what I would have had to do with my daughter. I don't know if she would have made it out of an accident like that. I have no clue. Now, my brain wants to fixate on all of this. Our trauma wants to fixate on all of this. Another accident? Dominic just went through an accident, and then you're going to do this? This is my business. This is my livelihood. There's so many things we could be focusing on. That is not what we do. Instead, we have to focus on gratitude. We have to focus on high vibrational content. We have to for 2 reasons. 1, because it will make you feel better. And everybody wants to feel better. What you allow vibrationally into your life, what you allow inside of your body, what you hold on into your body, what you release out of your body, it all is going to impact how you feel. But the second thing is what you focus on, you attract more of. What have I been focusing on? Thank you, thank you, thank you for protecting my family. Thank you, thank you, thank you for protecting my family. Have you ever given a gift to somebody and they didn't appreciate your gift? How likely were you to give them another gift? But when you give a gift to somebody who's appreciative of your gift, you want to just give to them more and more and more. And so in that moment, even though the universe and God and source was giving me all of this stuff, instead of me going, why are you giving this to me? I don't fucking want this. I didn't want Dominic to get in another accident. I don't want my building hit. I don't want to have to deal with the insurance companies. I don't want to have to take time off. I don't want to have to close our place down. I don't want to have to do these things. Instead of focusing on that, I focus on the part of the gift that I appreciate so I can have more of that. Thank you for protecting my family. Thank you for protecting my daughter. Thank you for protecting my business. Thank you so much. I see you. I see you. I see you. And the more that you can focus on that, not only will you feel better because you're not sitting in a space of victim, you're sitting in a space of victor, of being protected, of being favored, but also you are letting the universe know, yes, please send me more protection. Please continue to keep my family safe. I am trusting you. I am trusting that whatever comes my way, whatever obstacle comes my way, it is happening for me. And when you can sit in that place, not only do you have this reassurance inside of you, but I promise you, it's going to keep giving you gifts. It's going to keep giving you blessings because you are being faithful in understanding that blessings are continuing to come. So the next day, I'm so grateful because the way that this lady hit the building, it was so fucking weird. Not one of my windows shattered. Not one. It was like the entire just framework just lifted up as her car hit it and drove underneath like a garage door. And you know what we did? We just fucking pushed that shit right back down. Locked the doors, called the insurance company. They're going to have somebody come out and pay for it. But because nothing was damaged, I didn't have to spend any money to close everything down. I didn't have to worry about boarding things up. I didn't have to worry about closing down my shop. I didn't have to worry about canceling the party the next day. Business as usual. You never know why something happens. You never know why something happens. I love this philosophy that I heard one time where it was talking about, from God's perspective, nobody goes without food on this planet because there's enough food for everybody. From his perspective, there's an abundance. But when we're down here, from our perspective, we can see how there is a struggle that some people have and some people have without, right? And so it's leaning on not your own understanding, but the perception of the bigger collective, trusting that everything is happening for the benefit of everybody, not you, understanding that you are part of something so much bigger. It's not just about what you are gaining. It's about what is being gained on the planet. I don't know why she had to drive into my building that day, but I am trusting that she had to. I like to play these scenarios in my head because I'm a very creative person and I love writing things. And so sometimes I will write these stories of why this stuff happens to make me feel better. Like her car was a lemon and something in that car was going to go wrong while she was driving it. She has a baby, by the way, and so the baby could have been in the back of the seat, and this car could have had something go wrong with it, and she could have died that day. Her baby could have died that day. But if she totals the car in a safe enough way that nobody is hurt before, then she's not going to be driving this car when it goes out on her. Like, I just make up this stuff, but guess what? It makes me feel good. It makes me feel like, yeah, I'll take that. I'll let her smash into my building so her car is totaled to protect her from an accident that could take the life of her or her child later on. Like, I love playing those games with myself because it allows me to lean on the optimism that all of this is happening for a reason outside of my control. You never know why things are happening. You have to have faith. I get so irritated when I see people say, have faith, have faith, have faith, have faith. And one thing goes wrong in their life and they fall apart. Where's your faith? We have to trust that this stuff is happening for us. We have to pull ourselves out of these low vibrational spaces that are trying to convince us that we are unworthy, that we are unseen, that we are forgotten, that everything bad always happens to us. We do not have to think that way. We do not have to operate from those spaces. We do not have to allow those things to control our minds. Like, we are able to live fulfilling, beautiful lives even when struggle is happening. And so the next day I had this consultation. Now, the past me, the person in my past would have allowed this to validate why I didn't have to show up that next day. Let me just shut down my space. Let me spend time with my daughter. Let me collect myself. The types of days like this would have destroyed me in the past. They would have knocked me down into spaces of depression and despair and wondering why me? But because of the work that I'm doing, I don't have to sit in those spaces very long. I know how to pull myself up and out of them. And the next day, guys, it was blessing on fucking blessing on fucking blessing that was given to me because of my devotion to stay high in my vibration and continuing to live my authentic life regardless of what bullshit was happening around me. It does not have to change me. And so the next day I wake up and I decide I'm going to just go full force. We're not going to let this stop us. We're going to continue to open. We're going to do what we need to do. I'm going to make it to this consultation. So let's talk about this consultation for a minute. I had told the universe, I will honor the direction that I got that said take the whole month of June off. I will honor your directive when I heard you say give all of my profit to the girl that I have running her. Don't pay her an hourly wage. Give her every single dollar that comes into the space for watching it for me for that month. Give it to her. Now, what do I do if I'm giving my income away? How am I going to pay my bills? How am I going to have income coming in for that month? I said, I'm going to trust you. I'm going to trust you, universe. I'm going to ask boldly. Like we are told to do. Ask boldly for what you want. Don't beat around the fucking bush. Your enjoyment in this life, your fulfillment in this life, your abundance in this life is your goddamn birthright. You get to ask for these things. So I asked the universe, if I'm going to honor this directive and I'm going to take this whole month off to focus on me and to focus on what's going on inside of me and to show up more powerfully for the people that I'm being asked to help and do the things that I'm being called to do, I'm going to ask you, universe, to give me $4,000. Give me a way to make $4,000 this month where I am not tied to obligation. I am not tied to a time constraint. I do not have to go anywhere that I don't want to go, and I get to do something that I want to do. Bring me $4,000. That's what I kept saying to the universe. So that day I had a consultation for somebody that wanted a mule in the building. And as I'm driving down to do the mule or do this consultation, I was wondering, like, how much am I going to charge these people? Like, I do mules all the time in my past, but like, they're all for fun. Like, I don't know what I can charge. So I walk into this building, and as I'm there, and the lady is telling me about this, she had told me already about this mule. As I'm walking up, I'm kind of thinking in my mind, you know what would be great is if I don't have to walk in front of people. I like to work on my artwork alone. I don't like for people to be looking at it before it's done. And so usually when you're doing a mule, and especially one of this size, it means that you're going to be doing it over multiple days. And that means that people are going to be looking at it. And I don't know, it didn't really sit right with me. So I was letting the universe know, if there was a way for me to paint this mule in private, if there was a way for me to keep this art sacred, if there was a way for me to just be in my own space, let that happen. And I walk in and the lady tells me, good news, bad news. Bad news is we're moving out of this building, so we can't have you painted on the wall. But the good news is that you can paint it on, we still want to buy it, you can paint it on canvases, 4 canvases, large canvases, and you can bring them in, and then we can just hang them up on the wall, and then we'll be able to take them back to, take them with us when we move into this bigger location. And I thought, okay, that's great, because I can look at on the canvases at home. Like, I don't have to be in the space that I didn't want to be in, right? So thank you. I'm giving gratitude. Guys, I cannot tell you enough. Give gratitude, give gratitude, give gratitude. When you give gratitude, you're going to get so much back. And so thank you for letting me do this at home like I had asked you that I wanted to do. And so she says, do you know about how much you charge us? And I said, honestly, I wasn't really sure. And she says, well, here's the thing. Money is not an obstacle for us. How about $1,000 a fucking canvas? There's 4 canvases. Do the math. That's $4,000. That is exactly what I had asked the universe for. And I'm going to make it in a way that I want to make it in the comfort of my own home. Just like I had asked for. In the previous me, the unhealed me, would have canceled this consultation out of fear that I needed to be at the club because of all the bullshit that was going on, that I needed to be there for my spouse. We're not married, but we're not married. I know there's a rumor going on that we're married, but we're not married. And so for me to just see this blessing. And so I get my call and I call Dominic and I'm like, babe, you're never going to believe it. Like, you're going to believe it, but you're never going to believe it because I believe it. I know that I can manifest anything that I want in this world. That's what I teach people inside of my classes. Like, I know that it's possible. I know that it's my divine right to have everything that I want. And yet, every single time I manifest something, I'm like, holy shit. I'm important. And I'm not forgotten. And what I want wants me too. So I go about my day and I go to Lowe's and I'm getting these boxes because I'm packing up because I manifested my own space. I manifested my own home, right? And so I'm so excited and I'm taking these boxes and I'm starting to, pack things, and naturally doubt comes. And I'm like, Sarah, oh my God, like, you're moving, your rent is increasing, you're taking time off of work, you're giving away your profit to other people. Like, I know everything's going to work out and I know these blessings are coming, but have you thought about what you're actually doing and the risk that you're taking? And immediately, I catch my vibration going down and I'm like, we aren't doing that. We are not doing that. We are not doing that. Every single time I feel my vibration fall down, that is a blessing letting me know that there is work for me to do. There is deconditioning for me to do. There are thoughts in my mind that are not serving me, that are there because of my mother and because of my father and because of my teacher and because of my exes and because of all the trauma and because of the abuse and because of the sexual assault and because of all of that bullshit. And every single time it shows up, I get to say, no. No, we are not listening to those voices. We are not listening to those fears. You know better. You are going to continue to give gratitude, and you're going to continue to let the universe know what you want. And so I told myself, we aren't doing that. Look at all the evidence that everything is working out. Look at all the evidence that everything is working out. And I was like, well, you know, I have 1, 2, 3, 4 people at my retreat, but I thought I'd have more by now. Everybody's saying they want to go, but not a lot of people have pulled the trigger on actually paying for it or booking it. So what does that mean for me, universe? No, Sarah, stop. It's not your job to figure it out. It is not your job to figure it out. It is your job to trust. You only have your own perception. The universe, God, source, has a perception of all. It will all work out. So as I'm telling myself that, and I'm telling myself that, my phone rings. It's a girlfriend of mine. And she's calling me because her and her 2 friends want to book the retreat. Another $3,000 coming in. Okay, I see you. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. I literally had to pull over my car and go, gratitude, appreciation, gratitude, appreciation, gratitude, appreciation. Thank you, thank you, thank you. This stuff is real, y'all. Like, it's so real. It's so real. And every single time that I see how real it is, I'm always like mind blown. Because it's one thing for us to say, if you do the work, if you heal your wounds, you're going to have a more fulfilling life. If you do the work, you're going to have more happiness than sadness. If you do the work, you're going to be able to manifest all these beautiful things into your life. And sometimes when you're doing the work, it fucking sucks so much that you're like, God, I hope this really works. Like, man, I hope this really works. And so when you start to see the fruits of your labor is not going to work every fucking day. Labor is not you putting in 12 hours every day. Labor is not misery. Labor is working on your inner self. When you are doing the labor inside, the fruits show up. It is not in the outer work. It is in the inner work that your life starts to get beautiful. And that is what I'm trying so hard to teach in these retreats, is that everything that you need to live the life that you want is inside, not externally. It doesn't fucking matter what is happening around you. It matters what is happening inside of you. I am so committed to what it is that I am working on inside of myself, and I am so committed to showing other people how to do this, because this is what we need. It is not fair that we are inundated with so much bullshit throughout our lives that we never get a chance to actually enjoy ourselves. That is not how we were designed to live. We were designed to live with purpose and enjoy the experience. And you have the ability to do that. It is so simple. It is so simple. It is not easy, but it is so simple. Focus on what you want, not on the lack of what you have. And when you focus on what you want and you give gratitude for it, it will come in bucket loads. Bucket loads. I am so grateful for everything that I get to be for other people and for myself through this time. You know, when that lady hit me, it was so sad. I'm sweating. It was so sad that her husband was there and was not comforting at all. And as an empath, you can feel people, and so I felt her guilt. Like, she was so embarrassed. And she was crying. And I walked over to her and I said, you know what, it's okay. And she just started crying and she's like, I'm so sorry. And I said, it's okay. It's okay. The most important thing is that you are safe, and you are safe, and I am safe, and my daughter is safe, and my space is safe, and everything is going to be okay. And you can see how she was able to process that guilt out of her body instead of burying it inside of her and letting it turn her into some victim that thinks less of herself because she made some stupid mistake. The old me would not have been able to hold for her like that. The old me would have been side-eyeing her and being like, who the fuck does this bitch think she is? And she's running into my space and potentially hurting my family. Like, there would have been so much anger and resentment towards her because of things that I hadn't worked through. When you start healing yourself, not only do you start to show up more powerfully for yourself, but for other people. And just like negativity spreads, just like victimhood spreads, positivity, love, and gratitude spreads too. And I'm committed to doing that. Like, I'm committed to doing this work. And if you are committed to doing this work, consider doing it with me. Like, I am not perfect and I don't have it all figured out. I'm still learning every single day. But that is when we get to grow the most, is when we get to sit with each other inside of the tears, inside of the work, inside of the ugliness, and we get to do it together side by side, holding each other's hands. That is when the most magic happens. If you guys didn't see my post, I talked to a lot of people that hadn't pulled the trigger, even though they were saying that they wanted to do it. And I realized that some people just don't have that amount of money sitting in their account. Some people don't have that money to pay for the retreat up front. And so I just released that you can pay a deposit. That option is on my website, and then take as much time as you need to be able to pay it off up until the retreat begins. So I just shared in a post, if you look at the November retreat that I have, that's in 21 weeks. That means after your deposit, that's $27 a week. Or $25 a week, $57 bi-weekly. Like, what? You pay that bi-weekly between now and November, and you have this all-inclusive healing retreat? Like, what? Stupid price. Stupid deals. Like, all because I'm so fucking passionate about this information. We need to heal, y'all. Like, we deserve it. I love you all. I hope you're having a beautiful night. Thank you guys for listening. I love you.